Dr. Amy SAPOLA, Director of Pharmacy with an F at the Chef's Garden, and today is a tart extravaganza. We're gonna make 3 different types of tomato tarts. So first, I'm gonna start with the more traditional tomato. These are toy box tomatoes, but you'll notice we have red, orange, and green. So really beautiful, a wonderful way to eat the rainbow of tomatoes. This is simply a pesto that I made ahead of time, plain just pesto, your favorite recipe. And then in there, I mashed up some cheese. So about equal amounts of either a ricotta, or if you prefer a vegan cheese, I made a cashew cheese. And it really is just super simple. Mix that together, and that is going to be our base. And I'm gonna do it for both of these tarts. And I did dehydrate these ahead of time. So for these, in order to not get a watery tart, I put them in the oven at about 170 degrees for maybe an hour or two, just to kind of dry them down a little bit and concentrate that tomato flavor so that the tart will really be super flavorful, but not overly wet. All right, so our first tart is ready to go back in the oven. Now we're gonna work with the cherry tomatoes. And in order, again, not to make it overly wet, it took a few of us to scoop these out. So it's a really good activity to do with your family or friends. And you just really wanna remove the seeds and kind of the watery part inside the tomato. And cherry tomatoes are one of my favorite snacks for the kids. They really love just popping cherry tomatoes straight from the garden, or packing them in their lunches is another really great way to enjoy them. All right, so I placed all of our cherry tomatoes in here, again, showing off the color. And now we're gonna move on to our sweet tarts. So tarts can of course be savory, but they can also be sweet. So in this bowl, I have ricotta cheese, and I've mixed it with just a little bit of our creamed honey. And again, this is just a taste. I also just put a splash of vanilla in there, and I'm gonna put this down as our base. I love ricotta cheese. And if you go to the store, one thing I would always watch for when you're shopping at the grocery store is now they're starting to put a lot of like thickeners and other ingredients in ricotta. I like to find the ricotta that's really just milk and salt. It's very easy to make ricotta at home too, just with some whole milk, and you heat it up and then add a little salt and lemon juice, and kind of pour that through a coffee filter then, or any sort of stainless steel like filter, and you have ricotta. Now we're gonna use the pineapple tomatillos. Some people might also know these as ground cherries. They're delicious. They're kind of reminiscent of like a cross between a cherry tomato and a pineapple. These are a little bit old-timey. They aren't without a little bit of labor though, because you do have to take time to husk them. So just like the cherry tomatoes, really good to do with your friends. So I'm just gonna set these right on top of our ricotta and honey. So now I'm gonna bake these for about 30 minutes. All right, so we're just gonna finish these off with a little bit of flaky salt. And then I'm gonna tear up some basil. All right, so these ones are ready to serve. And then I'll move on to our sweet ones. So to these, we added honey. So just a regular honey and also a creamed honey. And I love creamed honey because it's really just whipped and almost like a frosting-like consistency. In this case, it really just melts into the tart. I'm just gonna add a few simple flowers. The honey comes from our bees at the farm at CBI. We have about 40 hives or so, and every year we gather honey. So here we have our sweet and savory tomato tart extravaganza. Thank you for joining me at home today in my kitchen. Check out this recipe and many more at farmerjonesfarm.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.